Hello, everybody. This is written by Murphy Daily, doing a book review. This is a book review of The Hunting Wives by Cobb. This was published very recently in May of 2021, this year. And if you like murder mysteries and thrillers and catty women, this is definitely the book for you. There are guns. There is like Pinterest, mean girls, and murder. Yeah, so if that's what you like, this is the book for you. I'm gonna say that as a murder chick mystery and thriller, this is definitely a very good story of its kind. The writing, the description is really impeccable. She talks a lot about the images, what the colors are. The main character, Sophie, is a mom and a wife that moved from Chicago to Texas to be a better mom. Is that kind of some wish fulfillment situation happening? And also she's really into Pinterest. Her actual job is what is definitely a dream for many people who are addicted to Pinterest. She does did writing for magazines about indoor decorating. And so I'm like, okay, that's all happening. And so the author, Cobb, actually does a great job describing the details of the surroundings that they're in, describe their outfits and the interior decorating. She also does a good job describing the food. Now, the story of Sophie is she's trying to fit into this town, and, well, this is where the mean girls get in. She has, one friend who's from school, and but she kind of hooks in with these other ladies who are kind of crazy. Now, the head lady, who is the definite alpha female, has started this club of Friday nights where they get together and they actually shoot guns. It is Texas, okay. So this is actually another part of the sensory descriptions that May Cobb, the author, is really good at. She describes what it's like to shoot a gun. She describes the actual pain of when the shotgun hits Sophie, when Sophie feels the shotgun hit her shoulder. And so this is it's very visceral. She's there, the bang, all of this stuff. I don't think Sophie had ever fired a gun before this place, so it's kind of new. And I think that's probably true for many of the people reading the book, because there are definitely a lot of women who have not fired a gun. There are certainly many who have. But this is interesting, and those who have as well will understand what it's like. They'll be like, oh yes, it's like that and the thing, and so she does a good job of describing it. Sophie has a problem because she is in this town, which is what she wanted. She loves her husband so much, Graham, who's so incredibly handsome and kind of two-dimensional. But he's handsome husband man, and she's a mom, and she has to try and figure out how to fill her life that used to have a career in it and now doesn't, because she's in a new town and trying to fit in. So she's trying to fit in with this group of friends, Margot, and really quickly we find out that Margot is really super evil. You kind of knew that all along, but it gets crazy from there. Okay. So this is all a lot of sensory things. Let's not forget she has a lot of sex in it too. So the parties that are shooting parties, because Margot is such a rich bitch, she controls everybody and is like, okay, we're gonna go, not tell anybody, but we're gonna go out and sort of, she's calling it flirting, but it goes way beyond that after a bit. And we're like, okay, so they're all kind of going out and being a little bit extramarital, but not all the way. And that's kind of whoa, that's not okay. And Sophie, who good girl, does not want to transgress from her beloved husband whom she loves so much. Yeah, well, until she kind of does want to. And there is one of the parts of the stories, now this is kind of difficult for me to follow, but it was difficult for me to follow exactly, but it definitely added interestingness because the chapters go back and forth on a timeline in the beginning. Well, it does kind of go back and forth sometimes. It's like, okay, it's a week before or it's a week later. And so you're kind of confused about what's happening and what the timeline is, but definitely nonsense is happening. And so there is a lot of tension and it's interesting. She did a good job of pacing it. And so full of tension, full of sensory experiences. But I gotta say, there was a couple things I didn't like. First of all, that's not my usual thing. I'm not much of a murder thriller person. I'm much more about literary character development. Cobb is a good writer, I gotta say. Kudos. It is beautiful. The words themselves are really beautiful. The description is great. But I was disappointed in the lack of character development. I don't really feel like I know who Sophie is. She felt kind of like very stereotypical of a mommy person. So, she was a mommy about appearances and she wanted, some very flat things. I didn't wonder about what her motivations were. It was a little too stereotype. So, I have no interest in finding out what happened to Sophie in her life. Like, I don't wonder after, which I really love to do. I love for stories to stay with me. I love to chew on them when I'm not reading them, to wonder more than what is there. Like, wait, did she really love him? Or what was really happening? I didn't really have much of that. It felt flat that way. So I none of the characters to me, except, no, I didn't really care about any of the characters. I didn't wonder about who they were. There wasn't enough there really, as far as the characters went. The story was plenty. If you want a murder, if you want thrill, if you want naughtiness and shocking sensory whatever, that was enough. That was plenty. But that's not what I wanted, right? I missed the character development. I want to know why the characters are doing it. I want to have like room to swim around in that, and that really wasn't there for me. The other problem was, and I know this might be finicky, because it is a murder, okay? It's a murder, and we know murder is horrible, right? Horrible, horrible. But as a woman, the character, the bad guy character, they got actually involved in some underage boys. And I'm like, this is child molestation. This is really too far for me. This is tough. This is definitely, it was a woman and a boy. And if that were reversed, it would be utterly reprehensible. If there were an adult man predating on a teenage girl, I would be as horrified, more horrified. But I'm like, oh, that really? So it's kind of reminding me of shades of V.C. Andrews. Like, oh, really? We have to bring in like forbidden, gross sex. Gross. So I really didn't like that, and that was off-putting, and I wanted that not to be there, or I wanted there to be condemnation of it in some way, and I wanted the character who engaged in it to get some judgment. So that was a problem for me. So that's me. That's my take on it. If you like thriller murder, and if you like all the things that ping on chick lit girl stories about the beautiful surroundings, if you love running around on Pinterest and you love reading mysteries, this is exactly for you. But I really wanted more character development, and I'd love to see what Cobb does, because I think she's a very good writer. I think she may develop, this is her third novel, so she may end up developing more books with that element, and I hope so. But even so, it is truly a good book, but it wasn't everything that I was hoping for. But if you like it, you should, if you like mysteries, etc., it's definitely for you. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd love to keep the conversation going.